When reading Bowling Alone by Robert Putnam, I was able to get a better understanding of myself and my development as a future social worker in regards to bridging and bonding social capital. I am an American. This is an identity I was born with. I was born in the greatest country in the world, and since I could remember, I was ingrained with this blind nationalism for my country. I was told that when I grew up, I could be anything that I wanted to be. I was told that I lived in the greatest and most free country in the world, and all I needed to do was work hard, and I could be like all these rich people I idolized so much. And of course, I believed it. I was young and naive, and at the time, it made sense to me. In my head, hard work equaled payoff, and to get anywhere in life, hard work was the key to get me there. But now that I am older, I realize that this path to success or upward mobility was not linear. There are many turns and curves and speed bumps that I and my fellow working class Americans would have to take in order to achieve this payoff that we were told so much about. Now, of course, while hard work does grant payoff in certain scenarios, I fail to see many roadblocks I would be facing in order to gain this sort of success. In class, we did an activity in which we all took the identity of a made up person, and from that, we answered questions and were able to move forward or stay in place, depending on whether the question applied to our character. These questions included scenarios that affected our jobs, families, love lives, etc. Once all the questions were asked and everyone was in their respective spots according to the questions, we were able to look around and see the positions of everyone else. While some people were in the front, others were far back in the classroom. While as an adult, I understand that privilege exists, being able to see it in this context was very eye opening to me. We as people are complex and diverse. We come from families of different economic and social backgrounds, and because of that, it is important to understand that we all have different levels of social capital in our society in order to gain upward mobility that is boasted so much about. I am a biracial, Puerto Rican, and white female who grew up in a large mixed family that was very underprivileged. We were on food stamps and welfare. Everything that was purchased for me was either hand me downs or came from various secondhand stores. Now, growing up, that was normal for me. And it wasn't until I was older I learned how disadvantaged I really was in terms of social capital and upward mobility. And while this idea of privilege isn't new, it's a common topic for controversy in media, especially now with the recent talk of discrimination and the Black Lives Matter movement. But even though I can recognize the ideas of privileges and where it played a part in my own upbringing, why do so many people deny it? Why do we look down at the poor and working class as if it's a them problem and not a societal problem? Why do we not tackle these issues of discrimination instead of sweeping them under the rug? I believe this has a lot to do with my beginning statement. We are Americans, and to get anywhere in life, we must work hard. In Danforth's article about locating himself in class based oppression, he brings up the idea that poor people simply lack the moral character to push themselves out of poverty. They lacked the education, hard work, and good character, and to not be poor, they must simply work harder. This is due to us looking at poverty as, again, a them problem and not a societal problem. We are failing as society to make these bridges that Putnam speaks about, and because of that, we remain divided on issues that affects the majority of our nation. Although I can sit here and reflect on how this class and our discussions and activities affected me and gives me the ability to reflect on my own privilege or lack thereof, I need to understand that the issue of poverty and discrimination is bigger than me and my future career in social work. Human services is the field of advocating for and helping disadvantaged populations. As a future social worker, I recognize that we are constantly at the front lines to fight the battles that our clients deal with daily. As I continue to educate myself and stay vigilant to bridge social capital between me, the field of social work, and the communities I plan to advocate for, I can help create a more equitable world.